Welcome to Future Hidden Movie Gems. Today we're talking 13 hours. Explosions! I can't think of a quote. Bam! And I got my co-host, Cameron.
You're not giving it orders anymore. You're taking them. You're in my world now.
Yes.
That guy is such a loser.
Yes. We are talking Michael Bay again, ladies and gentlemen. I know we give him a lot of crap, but honestly, I do love his movies, even like the ones that we like joke about, just because they're fun. Like you're gonna be in for a ride, and I mean, beyond the explosions, it's just he just knows how to make things look visually fun. So let's get right into this. We got Michael Bay. Oh wait, oh, Ty was here for a second. Now he's gone. Very excited to talk about 13 Hours. Probably one of my favorite of Michael Bay. Maybe Transformers.
It's easily my favorite.
I might like Transformers, the first one, a little bit better.
It's a close second.
You can eat that piece. I just love that quote from Transformers. Okay, Cameron, what was it like watching for the podcast and revisiting?
Well, just real quick, it's 13 Hours, made in 2016, directed by Michael Bay.
And you got two people from The Office,
Chuck Hogan and Mitchell Zuckoff. It's the book 13 Hours. So just Chuck Hogan wrote the screenplay.
And was it you that told me that the guys were on set too? Like,
I believe so. I've definitely heard that. And it's also starring John Krasinski, Pablo Schreiber. Yeah, Schreiber. And then it's
Schreiber, Cameron. German.
Oh, sorry. It's also got
What's
Dave
up, ladies?
Denham.
I thought I'd just join in. Is it already recording?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
13 Hours.
13
first.
Hours.
That's what you said.
13 hours.
It's Michael Bay.
Michael Bay.
But yeah, it's got Jim and what's Pam's
John Krasinski.
That's what I already said their names.
He hasn't earned your respect.
Jim and Roy.
Dude.
And it's got the guy from Den of Thieves. Ty, did you recognize him? That's right.
Yeah, Pablo Schreiber or whatever.
Both of my favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, Ty doesn't love this one, but
hey, that's because I hate this country. Okay, sorry. And the troops that died.
This one did make me be proud to be an American. I do love Michael Bay's got mad respect.
All it took was Michael Bay.
He has mad respect for our troops, and I appreciate that.
He made Pearl Harbor, didn't he?
Yeah.
I think he loves the military more than he loves this country, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, the only part that kind of made me like, I'm like, oh geez, like when the soldier when the other guy's dragging the other guy back and he shoots him, and I'm like, and he's like, yeah, that's what I thought, or something like that. I was like, oh geez, like he just flat out murdered that guy. Like, I mean, I know.
Okay, well, it's not like that dude was an innocent bystander.
Well, I know that, but the guy's already injured. He's down for the count. Like, and you're gonna like mow him down. Like, I don't know. Cameron's they're not dead enough.
Bro, the moment they whip out that RPG, they take away all rights to being human, bro.
Or that is it called the Gatling? What's the one that was like tearing through people and people ripping in half?
Oh, yeah, the mortar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the mortar was.
Well, this movie is
the Gatling gun. Yeah, was also wrecking people. I'm talking about the mortar that was like the one that would.
This movie is extremely grisly, so I just thought I'd show everybody on the podcast. Look at this gash on my knee. It's so small, but it really hurt.
This is going to be one of those podcasts where Ty wants to talk about anything else but the movie.
Maybe that's not what I'm trying to. Yes, it is exactly what I'm trying to do.
That was like when we talked about Black Mirror. Ty's like, oh, well, let's talk about the philosophy instead. Let's dive into other things.
About anything else other than the show that I didn't watch.
Well, responding to your question, Jordan, what was it like watching it for the first time and rewatching it for the pod? Watching it for the first time, I was blown away. I don't remember if I watched it with mom and dad. I watched it.
Sorry, seems insensitive.
Quite literally blown away.
I was shell shocked.
I watched it on VidAngel. And because I was watching it with mom and dad.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I watched it with you too for the first time, because dad showed us all for the first time because none of us had seen it.
Yeah, and
was this one that dad watched before us and he recommended it to us?
He was the one who recommended it to us.
It's kind of funny. And then
I mean, he does love the first Transformers a lot, so.
And so then after watching for the first time, I mean, I instantly fell in love with it, and it was in my top 100. And then rewatching it for the pod, I was impressed how well it held up.
It's not in your top 100 though anymore.
No, it still is.
Oh,
It still
okay.
is in my top 100. I think it's like in. I just recently actually adjusted my top 100 today, so I need
That's
to
why I
check.
wondered if it dropped out. Because on this viewing, Cameron, I don't mean to cut you off, and you can get back to you in a second, but it for me, like I noticed all the Bayhem stuff, and it's just like it started cracking me up. Like I kind of wish I'd seen it with Dad, because when I see it with Dad, I kind of check out and I just enjoy it. Because Dad's
Uh-huh.
like, "Yeah, America."
Are you wearing your Argentina shirt?
Yeah, because Argentina won the
Well,
World Cup, baby.
but not Carp or whatever. Not your
Well,
that
River
team, but
Plate
yeah.
is
River
just
Plate.
they've
Right,
taken
right,
a
River
few
Plate.
players from the team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Messi, is Messi play for River Plate?
I don't think so.
No,
Oh,
he
okay.
plays. I'm pretty sure for like Paris or something
Paris.
like that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, good job, Argentina. That was pretty cool. I watched the highlights of the game. It's 4 minutes. I didn't sit and watch. If you go on YouTube, you can watch a 4-minute clip of all the scores. And I was like, maybe I do like soccer. And then I realized the game went on for 2 hours.
It's just
and
an
I was like,
hour of running
I
back
think
and
4
forth.
minutes of YouTube recap was all I wanted. But it was an exciting game for what I could tell. 3-3, and then it went into overtime.
Yeah, but just going back to watching
anyway, back to the game or
the
movie.
movie, like I just every time there's like an explosion, I just notice people like rolling, like and flipping, and I was dying. I was having so much fun because I'm just like, oh, Michael Bay is like, because he has like a huge team of people, and it's just like, all right, shot. All right, how can we make this more interesting? How can we make this more visually stimulating?
Shoot from the ground up and make them look
Well,
taller.
see,
yeah.
Well, what surprised me is on the second watch, it had a lot less action than I remember, which sounds kind of crazy because I know there is tons of action, but there's a lot more just kind of like build up, and that's what kind of makes it more like you got to get in there.
Yeah, I thought there was more blood, and I was watching it. I'm like, oh, maybe there's not as much as I thought
there's
there
pretty
was.
much like 1 or 2 scenes where it's like, ooh, like
I guess after watching
his arm when he's like,
yeah,
oh, man, and I'm like, oh, let's put that thing away, dude.
I guess after watching Dragged Across Concrete at the girl's face getting imploded, like I feel like I'm desensitized now. When I watch stuff, I'm like, this isn't that violent.
Yeah, see, that was the thing too, is rewatching it. It wasn't as amazing as that first watch was just amazing. But it still held up really well. And I don't know if it's just me, but or if I'm just so desensitized, especially with watching with Grant. But like, I swear, it like barely swore. I'm like,
I think it had a good amount, Cameron. It just depends on who you're watching it with.
If you watch it with Vin Angel, like I tried to the first time, it's just like I was like, I'm suffering from deafness or whatever, but it's because of crude language. No,
that's like when we watched Cameron and I watched
Wolf of Wall Street.
Edited. We heard like nothing. It was
hilarious. And we took out, I think like the first time we watched it, took out like all F words, the S words,
and all the other words. But then we're like, we can't hear anything, so we took off all the other words and just left the F words because we couldn't hear a word.
Yeah, because there was multiple times where he would just be up there giving speech going. And I'm just like, I don't know what's going on.
Speech, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I was like really impressed on the second rewatch. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes, but it kind of blows by. I was very like surprised. It did not feel like a super long movie.
Oh, it felt a little long this time for
me. It felt like 13 hours, to be exact. Movie.
Right?
Well, my first time watching it, I was a little lost. I was like, I can't keep up with this movie. Like, I was kind of confused about who the bad guys were, what was going on. We were in the fortress. We got to hunker down. I don't know. I guess it should have been a simple enough plot, but I was kind of like, I don't know. I was like ping-ponging all over the place.
What was that time?
It's getting lost, man. I was lost. Anyway, I do want to rewatch it. I have not rewatched it for the podcast, so I shouldn't be on this episode. I thought we were talking Final Destination first. I'm sorry. So
Ty, that kind of, we said like that actually was really helpful rewatching for the second time, because my first time I didn't really understand what was going on, and then on the rewatch it helped a lot more, because at first I just didn't understand why they didn't go and immediately help, and then like on the rewatch I'm like, oh, they're a covert base that's not even supposed to exist. So if an embassy was getting attacked and then they just automatically like out of nowhere get like SEAL Team 6 help, you're like, where did that come from?
So do you guys
that's
like
why
this
they were so
movie?
hesitant.
As far as war movies go, do you like this one more than Lone Survivor? Do you like it more than American Sniper?
I think it's kind of with the rest of those.
Yeah.
For me, my war movies is Inglourious 1, Hacksaw 2, and then
Saving
American
Private
Sniper
Ryan,
3,
of
and then
course.
this 4. Oh yeah, Saving Private Ryan up there as well.
No,
I think it's 2. No, it's 3. After Hacksaw and Inglourious.
I also have Terrence Malick's film up there. I love I
which
can't
one is
remember
this?
the name of it. That's just so sad, but
Fury?
it's
Or wait, no, which one?
no, it's
Fury's
Terrence
great.
Malick.
Oh yeah, Fury's also up there for me.
I know I'm
I
thinking of all
know
these movies right now.
The Thin
both of
Red
you
Line.
guys don't like it, but
Oh, the Thin Red Line.
I love it. I mean, I haven't rewatched it, and I tried rewatching it, and it wasn't
I
very.
thought I'd like 1917 more, but I think someone called it. They're like, I don't
Oh,
think I'm ever gonna rewatch this, and I'm like, yeah, I
yeah.
think you're right. But I did like it, and then
I
what
really
was the
like
other one?
Behind Enemy Lines as
Wait,
well. It was
just
a good one.
I wanted to watch All Quiet on the Western Front. That looked really good. I haven't seen it though.
Grant said it was really good.
That's good. What about Saints and Soldiers, Ty?
That's a good one. I like that one.
Yeah, I saw the directors with Quentin Tarantino. I mean, like he went there at the premiere showing. I was like, oh, okay. There's a photo
Tarantino
of it
saw Saints and Soldiers.
Yeah,
and Jordan.
He's like,
Jordan,
those Mormons are really interesting.
That was a good impression.
Do you want to say what was like for watching for the first time rewatching?
Well, I kind of already mentioned it. But I wanted to just really quick say 2 seconds ago, Ty, you're like, oh, I thought we were gonna do Final Destination first. Let me just explain Ty and communication really quick.
Yeah.
I sent Ty a million texts, and then
you said get on as soon as possible. So I thought you were gonna.
No, I'm talking about last like 2 weeks ago or whatever when you weren't on, and you're like, oh, and then after we recorded because we're switching the day, and then you're like, all right, what movie we're doing, and then we're like, we already recorded it, and then today you're like, wait, do the movie first. I got to put the kids down. Do 13 hours.
I just rustle them into bed. I just smother them with
no, but I'm just saying, you said do that movie first, and then you got on right when we started.
I know.
Then you're like, oh wait, I thought we were doing.
I prioritized this. I just wanted to show you how much I care.
You're like, I thought we were doing Final Destination first.
Yeah,
like,
make no sense.
My kids missed a prayer and a kiss and an affection from their father just so I could be here.
But see, once again, Ty's on a different like communication scale right now.
I know. I'm sorry.
Talking about something else.
Just wanted to prove that I love being on this podcast. Don't phase me out, guys.
Just don't listen to our It Comes at Night episode.
That was a great episode.
Anyways, I didn't like the movie as much the second time rewatching it. Like Cameron said, it's that first viewing is really good. And I also think it elevates it when you watch it with Dad. I kind of already mentioned that. But he just makes it more fun because he loves this movie so much. and
he loves our troops.
Yeah, Ty, so you want to take it away. What are
two favorite things?
Because you might have so few.
I don't know what it is. Like John Krasinski, is he an action star? I saw him as Captain Fantastic.
Oh, you know what's hilarious is his name is Jack in this, and then it's Jack Ryan, and he plays very similar role. He kind of does that same stoic look all the time. Like I can't even do it. Like
it's like this. He's like,
oh yeah, the
of course, like he thinks he's
the Jim Halpert.
Still.
It's the Jim Halpert look. Yeah.
Yes.
Except with a beard and bigger muscles.
Yeah, he does that look all the time. He's just like, wow. Anyway, yeah, I liked.
Which I started season 3, by the way, for Jack Ryan, and I really enjoyed it.
It felt strangely toned down. I remember thinking like, there's Michael Bay, obviously, all throughout this, but it didn't feel as Michael. It didn't seem like. I don't think it was necessarily disrespectful in any way, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like I think it was tasteful enough where like it didn't necessarily seem like a I guess most films are propaganda anyway, but like it was fine. Like
I love based on true story movies, and I liked that he did this, and I liked Pain and Gain. Like
as far as I know, I think he tried to do like I don't know much about it, but I think he tried to do service to the vets and the story that actually took place.
Well, I heard that Cameron said or somebody said that like the vets were there as he was filming
on set.
Yeah. They blew him up again.
Oh my gosh, you're sick.
Stop. I shouldn't laugh at that. Well,
it's not. Hey, all you have to do is laugh about these things because they're so horrific. Like I think we're so unfortunate, and I'm so grateful for the men and women that give their lives defending our country. Did I say women? Only the men. The women stay in the kitchen, do the dishes. All right.
Ty's trying so hard.
I'm trying so hard. I love sexist jokes. Sorry. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Because this movie stars no women, so they got that right. Very accurate.
It does have
Anyway,
women, but so
it's been a while
last
since I've
time you
seen it.
watched
I guess they didn't do much because I don't remember them in it. Anyway,
Well, it is a
it's
Michael Bay movie, so they're just everybody's there to just look hot.
just do the James Cameron thing. Like I have so much respect for him in Aliens when he's like, "Hey Ramirez, does anyone ever mistake you for a woman?" She's like, "Hey, I was funny. I was just gonna ask you the same thing." To Bill Paxton's character,
I know,
that's
she was so
instant
awesome.
respect. I'm like, oh, there you go. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Anyway,
she was the best.
instant respect.
Speaking of James Cameron, you watched the new Avatar yet, Ty?
I have not. I've not.
We were
I
supposed
had
to go see it today,
not.
but Grant got sick. I mean, he
I
was supposed
don't
to be
know
on the
if I care
podcast
to
as
see
well.
it. Do you guys really want to go see that
No,
movie?
Grant wanted to see it. That's why we were gonna go, and now he's sick, so we're not gonna go.
He's sick because he got anything's better than going to Avatar.
I don't know if I've
stomach
ever
flu.
actually finished like Avatar from start to finish in one sitting, because I remember the time
Yo,
I tried to
I
to watch it with you, Ty.
I own the
fell
Blu-ray of
asleep
Avatar. Yeah. And
and
I've
woke
not
up
rewatched
and
the
it
film.
was still going. Went through like an
We
hour
saw
and
it
a
in-
half
I
nap,
woke up from
and
my
it was
coma.
still going.
Did we see it in the theater, Ty?
We
swear.
saw it in the theater
Oh.
twice. And I have not seen we watched it in like the not 3D, but like wrap
IMAX?
screen. Yeah, IMAX. Maybe. And then we
I only
watched it like in a
once.
cheap theater. No, we watched it in a cheap theater together.
But I only watched it once.
I remember because there was a lot of people in one viewing and there was like nobody in the other viewing.
Yeah, I
Because
couldn't sit
they
through that
learned
movie
very
twice.
quickly not to watch it again. We saw it twice, or at least I saw it
You
twice.
saw it twice.
And then I saw I bought it on Blu-ray and it has collected dust ever since. I've not rewatched that movie. I won't. I mean, like, what's the point? I guess
I
maybe
tried.
if I get a 4K
I couldn't get
TV,
through it. It's too long.
like, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not even like a good movie. They said the spectacle was everything for the effects, which I agree with. And I remember people getting like clinically diagnosed with depression because the world is so bleak and ugly compared to Avatar. But I'm like, but dude, everything's super. Don't want to braid my hair with a bunch of creatures or whatever that dominate them. It's weird. But anyway, the spirit of Awa, all this stuff is all a retelling of Pocahontas or the Last of the Mohicans. It's Ferngully. It's Dances with Wolves. It's all the movies, which is fine. They acknowledge
back to
that.
13 hours.
Oh yeah, but The Shape of Water, real quick. The reason we got on this tangent is because like I have no desire to see it because they're like there's not even like a big spectacle of the visuals in this movie, is there?
No, that I heard it is.
Oh, is it? Okay. Are they going back? I mean, whatever. Cameron said in an interview he has no reason to ever make a movie that doesn't take place in the Avatar world.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Anyway, love him to death. So Michael Bay, James Cameron, they all deserve each other. They're just men and their toys, I guess. But anyway, so that's all I have to say about 13 Hours. Is I remember being relatively respectful, and the movie like was crazy. It was bombastic. It was made me feel for the troops. So take my hat and salute you,
Cameron, what about you?
and
What's your two favorite
all you
things?
veterans.
My favorite thing is I just love the suspense that comes from when they always ask like, are these friendlies or are these not? And just like that suspense of not knowing because there's only one translator who understands what they're saying, and like all of them have AKs pointed at you, and so you're like, are you resistance?
How do they not
fighter?
shoot each other going around the corner? Yeah, they go around the corner. You have like a fraction of a second to respond. Like you shoot them, and if they're friendly, oops. But if they're not,
yeah,
like
I know
it's
so crazy, and it's just like the suspense that it creates from that. I think is so impressive. I just think it's insane. Kind of like Ty mentioned, just their reflexes and their reactions to everything. I'm like, especially because like their rule is they can't shoot until they see a weapon. And so you see these people like sneaking up on the fortress and you're like, I wonder what they're doing. And so like, and they can't do anything until somebody pulls out an RPG and you just fetch and light them up. So it's things like that I just think are so insane. And that kind of goes into my second thing was I was so impressed with the second viewing on how much it made me care for like the people. Because like that was the thing. My first viewing, I was just so caught up in the action that the second time I was like actually impressed kind of how they didn't do as good of a job as like, for example, American Sniper or some other movies with like making you care for the people. But I was still pretty impressed with like little time. They would show you like 4 or 5 seconds of like a Zoom call or like a FaceTime with a dad and his kids. And you kind of just like learned a lot about their family and their situation, which just kind of made like everything more stressful every time. Like they're like, oh man, like we better like become it. And that's what's so crazy is I totally forgot that at the end when all the cars come that they think that they're bad and they're like, it ain't over till it's over. and they're like ready to essentially die, and then they find out that they're friendlies, and they're like, oh my gosh, like thank you, God bless, like it's a miracle.
I'm glad you enjoyed the I mean, the not flashbacks, but the when he's spending time with the family. It kind of had that like, not silhouette, but it was kind of like lighter shots. Like, oh well, they were flashbacks because he would be back with his family and talking to them.
Sepia tone.
Sepia, that's what it is. And I just like it just and the soap
The
opera.
Michael Bay glare, the Michael Bay
Yeah,
shine.
and then the music, and I'm just like, this is so forced. Like, I don't know. I didn't feel it as much this time. Like, I was really bummed that I didn't get to watch it on rewatch with
Aerosmith knew they came in. It's the week.
not Armageddon. That's a good one, actually. Armageddon. I need to rewatch that one.
Armageddon, dude. Great.
But any nitpicks, Cameron?
Nitpicks.
I mean, I didn't really. I think they just need to better explain kind of the whole situation, maybe, because like on a first viewing, it's kind of hard to grasp. Like if you understand the whole backstory behind it, then it's kind of like, oh yeah, like this makes so much sense. But like if you're not into politics like me, the first viewing I was just kind of confused at like first off, like what even the embassy is, and like why the troops couldn't go help, and just all that, and kind of just like I explained earlier.
He should have got a Hillary Clinton impersonator.
That would have been pretty funny.
to turn him down. No. Because apparently that's what Dad said. She was one of the people that said, the blood's on her hands.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of blood on her hands, dude. Let's just not mention it here. One of us is gonna commit suicide by shooting themselves twice in the back of the head.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, obviously, kind of like Jordan mentioned, there's a couple Bayhem moments, but overall, I think just really well done and really fun.
Yeah.
Is Bayhem just like word for explosion?
Yeah,
or
he
just
coined the phrase. He's Michael. It's mayhem, but he switched it to Bayhem because of his name.
Wait, so someone else didn't coin it, but he coined it himself?
I think he coined it himself.
I'm sure that's gotta be South Park.
Those are just special effects.
Those are all the special effects. Yeah, he's like, you're not describing a movie. You're
not describing a movie. You're just describing special effects.
You're describing special effects. Oh my gosh. He's like, what's the difference?
Cameron, there's a South Park episode about they're like trying. They
get M. Night Shyamalan, they get Michael Bay, and they get Mel Gibson, and they nail all three. Well, I mean, Mel Gibson's so out there, but I guess it's in keeping with whatever's going through that guy's mind right now. But it was so funny.
Well, it's so funny. His Instagram is literally the same as his movies. It's just hot girls and explosions and cars.
Oh man, it's great. So
lots of American flags.
All right, do we recommend?
Yeah, this one I do recommend at least once. Especially if you like war movies, but
yeah, I wouldn't even put it. I say it's fine. I'm not gonna say don't watch it.
It's a must watch if you're a Hillary hater or a Republican, because then you'll gobble that up.
Learn the truth. Yeah, learn the truth about your senators, politicians, and whatever she was. What was she? Secretary of Defense or something?
I think in international or in something affairs. What is it when you like deal with
foreign affairs?
She was Secretary, I think, of Defense.
That's what I thought it was.
Oh, okay.
She's Secretary of Trump or something. When she lost, nice. He's like, oh, what my favorite thing that Trump said, he's like, because you'd be in jail or whatever. Anyway, that's when he's like, I don't want to be living in America with Trump as president because you'd be in jail. That's what he said in a presidential debate. Anyway, that's nuts. Geez. Crazy world we live in, folks. I'm looking at a still image of John Krasinski screaming at someone. What was that about?
So they dropped his like one of the soldiers. Shoulder
dropped his shoulders on his shoulders
off the ledge of the building, and he landed, and that's when John freaked out.
He was already dead.
Yeah,
like it was the dead
instead
body.
Of like
carrying him down.
Yeah, instead of carrying him down, they just tossed his body over the edge.
And then he like had to turn, and he was like,
he got really.
He was just like super mad at him. Like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a very, very interesting still image. Anyway, I couldn't remember what that was about.
Yeah.
They knew, Robbie. They knew. Anyway,
Basically.
it's just that. Yeah, it's that scene. Yeah. Watch Saving Private Ryan first, of course. That's like, but if you watch that one, it ruins all other war movies.
It's
like
true.
the war movie.
Hacksaw's better and Inglorious.
Hacksaw is not better than Saving Private Ryan. Be Still My Beating
is.
Heart. I don't know what's happening right now.
It is.
American Sniper is
It
better
is.
than Hacksaw, even with the fake baby and fake baby and all.
I really wish they used that
Lone
robotic
Survivor.
baby in
Twilight, the
Twilight.
animatronic.
Oh my gosh.
The
I didn't
animatronic's
notice
a
it.
monster.
I still don't think I noticed it. They're always like, it's a fake baby. And I'm like, it looks freaking real to me. I know it's
CGI
not
baby?
moving, but babies don't move when they're napping. So anyway.
The creepy
Oh, you're
wait.
talking about American
See-
Sniper?
Oh, American Sniper.
Yeah,
Sorry, I
yeah,
was going
American
back to
Sniper.
Twilight.
Yeah, American
Yeah, oh, you
Sniper,
did
you have to like
Twilight?
focus really hard to be like, oh,
Someone
yeah,
was
that's
just
not
like,
real.
that's a fake baby. And I was like, I don't know, dude. I've got 3 kids. I look no more real or fake than any of my children. I don't know. Anyway, give him a break. It's not like
Jordan,
you
you want
want to
me
be
to-
shooting with a
Yeah,
real
what have you
baby
seen lately,
anyway.
Cameron? And what are you looking forward to?
Yeah.
You got me to do it on this episode?
Sure.
Yeah, on this
Okay.
one.
Okay, I watched It's a Wonderful Life with my wife because she had not seen it yet.
What'd you think?
She really loved it.
the Twilight baby.
I did the animatronic monster.
That looks so messed up. Stuff of nightmares,
Sorry,
dude.
I just had to show you that photo. Okay.
We should put a
the reason they
warning on
couldn't
this
use it is
episode.
that-
My bloody knee, and then there's the baby.
It should be a
and
disclaimer
horrifying.
No, see,
before
they
you
could-
see
they-
this image.
They couldn't put that in the movie, Jordan, because it would have made it R,
Nice.
dude. It would have made
Yeah.
an R horror movie.
Oh.
And then I also watched 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
For the first
Wow.
time. What'd you think?
Yeah, fantastic.
Oh, so good.
I don't know why
they-
comedian Kyle Ayers does not like it in his episode. Never seen it. He always riffs on that movie. I don't know why he hates it so much. He's from Missouri.
It
Maybe
made
it's like
my
an
top
offensive
100.
stereotype. Yeah, it's a good film. I liked it.
Oh,
That was
It's
so
fun.
good.
fantastic.
I'm from Wisconsin, so I can say that. I think it's fine.
I think it's so impressive. I mean, the character development of what's his name,
Sam Rockwell?
Yeah, holy cow! How
Yeah,
to make
we were talking about
like how to
Cameron
make
and
an
Jojo
irredeemable
Rabbit.
character.
Like
Yeah,
he ends up being the most redeemable character in both those movies, and
Yeah,
he's
get
Yes,
supposed
away
to be
he
from
most
me.
disliked.
he was batting at I don't know, what is the analogy? Batting at 100. He was doing
1,000.
awesome. Yeah, 1,000. He was doing really good that year. And he did like Moon the year or two before that. He's on another level.
yeah,
Great
he's
actor.
killing it.
Underrated.
And then I watched The Lobster. Well, I gave 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, 9 out of 10. And The Lobster I watched.
Oh, quick question, Cameron. Do you think they go out and at the end, do you think they carry it out, or do you think they're not gonna act on it? I guess without spoiling it for the viewers.
Well,
like at the end of the
I'm
movie,
gonna
they're
spoil it
driving
when he
to
stabs. When he's
Well, no,
is he
at the
gonna
end of the-
stab his eyes?
well, yeah, like remember they're like, let's head out there and we'll see what happens. But it ends
Well, they're at the
ambiguous.
restaurant.
No,
Yeah.
sorry, you guys are talking about 2 different movies. Ty, you're talking
Oh,
about.
are you going back to 3
Oh,
Billboards? I'm sorry. What
You're
are you
talking about 3 Billboards. I was talking about Lobster. Oh, 3
Oh
Billboards.
yeah, Lobster's great. What is he doing, Lobster? That also made no sense to me. But holy smokes,
Yeah,
I'd
3
rather
Billboards.
gouge my eyes out than
I
have
think
to.
I think
be
it's so
married to
interesting.
her.
I think it's so interesting that that they're both like, I don't know. Honestly, for me, I think they will end up going through with it, especially for the mother, because I think at this point she just wants to, because even if he's not her, he's just a, and she just will take it out on him.
Yeah.
And I just think that's good enough for her. The fact that she knows that he's evil, even though he's not her evil guy, she just knows like you're one less evil guy in the world. I feel like she just doesn't have much else going for her.
Vigilantism, yeah.
Yeah, because that's such a
Not
sad
afraid
shot
to take
when
matters into her own hands.
because I
Neither
feel like
is
that
Sam.
shot when she's looking at her son, she just kind of realizes like she has no purpose like in her life except for essentially just to be there for her son, but her son is kind of like distancing from her. So it's almost like, I mean, what do you have to lose?
Right.
And I love the interactions with her sort of ex-husband's girlfriend who's like 19 at the zoo. I don't work at the zoo anymore.
She kind of
I did
reminds
pony
me of
rides.
the Brendan Fraser of our time, because she's kind of like over the top and goofy. The one from Babysitter, and she's
Oh,
also she's
yeah.
in 3 Billboards Outside.
She
Ebbing,
looks
Missouri.
like Margot Robbie, right?
A little bit, yeah.
Big
And-
eyes, blue eyes, blonde
yeah,
hair.
and she's also in Bill and Ted, the third one.
Was she in the movie Mayhem, right?
Yeah, and Mayhem, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
she's just
yeah.
very like quirky and silly and over the top. Like I said, kind of reminds me of our day Brendan
Brendan
Fraser.
Fraser. I'm not getting the Brendan Fraser vibe, other than
You,
like I guess you thought like she was gonna be in everything or something, but
no, it's just like
she keeps
her
popping up. Yeah.
her over the top like acting. It kind of very theatrical
Mm.
and like silly and.
Ready or Not was a good movie, but she wasn't necessarily the craziest part of that movie. It was everybody else. So it was a
Oh,
good
I
movie.
didn't actually. I started that one. I haven't finished it. Is it
Oh,
pretty
I
good?
liked it. It's actually really fun. It ends great. I think it's got a good
Okay.
ending. Lands, it sticks the landing, I guess you could say.
Yeah, and she was
But
also in Guns Akimbo.
Akimbo. Akimbo.
All right, Cameron, what else you seen?
I watched The Lobster.
Dude, that movie's nuts.
A little. I'm not gonna lie. A little underwhelmed. It was a little too built up
A little
for
too
me.
artsy for you, Cameron? Are you just not smart enough for it, huh?
I thought it was just so.
Cameron,
so
I don't get the movie. I don't get the movie,
so
but I like
dark and
it.
depressing.
Yeah,
It's kind of like
sad.
enemy vibes of just like, oh man, what a dark take on just like life and just how essentially. I
You
just
didn't
think it's
find it
so
funny though? It's so funny.
I do think it's really
not
interesting
as
how
funny as Jordan thinks it is. Jordan
It's,
like
yeah,
it's
Jordan's
funny.
I
laughing
agree.
at it harder
What I
than
do
even
think is really
necessary.
interesting is how they essentially you have to have one similarity, like something like in common to in order to like be a match. I think that's
Yeah,
so
it's
interesting
so
that
awesome.
like for example the guy with the bloody nose or the fake bloody noses, like
Just
I
so
don't
he
know.
can connect with the girl. It's insane.
Uh-huh. And he's like, I'm not gonna die here or whatever.
Yeah.
Um
He's like, you're gonna turn into a lobster and then they're gonna eat you.
yeah,
Now that I
I
say
did
that, it kind of reminds me. Have you seen Triangle of Sadness, Cameron?
Yeah, Cameron.
uh-huh.
Oh, okay. That's kind of Lobster gave me vibes like that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But
I just
I
think
almost,
I think
yeah,
it's a scary world where
yeah,
filters don't exist. This is
yeah.
coming from the person who doesn't talk with a whole lot of filter. And so I just think
Well,
it's a
both
little
of you.
dangerous.
Both
It's a
of
little
me.
dangerous
More
sometimes
so,
when you're
Cameron.
around lots of people who don't have filters. Because like people
Cameron's
would
way
just
more
say
filthier than I am. Disgusting.
but yeah, Lobster overall, I just didn't love the like the feeling of the movie. I just felt like depressed
Oh
afterwards.
yeah, Cameron, didn't you
So
love
7 out of 10 for me.
the girlfriend, the psychopath
At the
who
end, he's
killed
ready to
his
gouge his eyes out.
brother? Did you know that his dog that dog was his brother?
Oh yeah, no, dude. Oh my
He
gosh.
was psycho.
I
I
hope she
heard
got
him
turned
whimper
into an
like
animal and
this.
got murdered. I know, dude. And he was like trying to hold it in. He's like,
He's like, I
she's
wasn't
like, what are you
crying. I just
crying
got some water
for?
in my eye.
Dude, yeah, I can't believe she not only murdered a dog, but murdered a dog who was a reincarnated human who was this dude's brother. Man, yeah,
Well, and
she
don't they
needs
go hunt the single people or something? What was that about? They
yeah,
hunt
and she was
John C. Riley right
How
in
is
the
that not
forest.
hilarious? He's like,
We'll
don't you
join you
notice
for a
how the
hunting.
targets look like single people? Or I
I do
love the
love
girl that's walking around and she's like, see, when she walks with a man, she's fine. And then she walks alone and the guy like comes out and like
yeah,
tries
Attacks
to
her. Yeah.
attack her.
yeah,
Yeah.
I same thing with like it's the dude choking or whatever, or the girl choking, and then it's like without a spouse she dies, and
Yeah.
then with a spouse he does the Heimlich on her and saves her life. I'm like,
And then
I
everybody
there's
just
almost
two
struggle with
claps.
that
reasons to
movie. I
have a
almost struggle with the
spouse.
movie though because like we have like declining marriage rates now and stuff, and like fewer and fewer people getting married. So maybe like maybe the movie was like behind the curve, or at least maybe is ahead of its time. I don't know. Like maybe back in like I don't know. Like it's talking about this traditional sense of marriage. It's like, oh look, like pushing it on you, like you have to be married. I'm
Yeah,
like, I mean,
but
it
it's just
used to
like
be that way,
Well,
but
no,
now, yeah,
I just watched his early movie, and it was about two kids inside a home, and the parents wouldn't let them see the outside world, and then they teach them all these wrong things. And so I think this film has just kind of amplified that. Essentially, the whole
yeah,
world is run by a society in which they control everything, and so the
right,
people, if they were taught a certain way, they'd believe some insane things like that
right,
you can only get married if you connect with that person. And so it turns these, you know, kind of these people who act like kids, Cameron, like they talk like children, which is so
well,
fascinating.
I think
yeah,
it's super interesting that the one fact that I do really like about the lobster is just essentially that it's proposing that if like a lot of times when you're a single person, you can kind of feel like you're not as happy and life doesn't have as much purpose, and then you need
Yeah,
to
that
realize that
society's
like
pushing that.
yeah, and then for you to realize that like you need to be happy and then you can be happy along with somebody else.
Well, especially in our culture, in the member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter Saints, they kind of push that, because I watched that movie as a single person, and I just felt like there was a lot of that pressure
You're
to
like,
get
this
married.
is the church, and everyone I know is pushing me and stuff like that. And if I don't get married, they're gonna start hunting me. Yeah, exactly.
BYU is the lobster. It's the hotel.
Is the hotel.
What else do you see, Cameron?
It's good.
I also watched Coherence. Wow, super good. It's kind of
so
it's
fun.
kind of like it's like The Invitation had a baby.
Is that the Korean one, or which one is that one?
No, Coherence it's a very
like time lapse. It's like if time lapse and The Invitation had a child, and they had the child on $50.
Okay, you guys have my attention. Coherence, 2013, Emily Baldoni.
It was recommended by Elvis the Alien. He had it on his top 100.
Ty, just go into it expecting though about the same budget that we have for our movie.
Yeah, very small budget, but the concept is so fun.
I think the budget was like $50,000, but it's so good.
Yeah, there's just moments you're like, whoa.
Yeah, I was stressing, and then there was a couple moments where my mind was blown with that scene, Jordan, with when they opened the box, and I was like,
like, I want to talk about it. I was like, that'd be a fun
dinner
episode.
Party, the comet overhead, is that the one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm making sure I get the right Coherence. All
so
right.
For me, it was 8 out of 10. And then I watched Total Recall, the old one with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not as funny as like I love Running Man.
Yes,
and,
Running Man. So
like
good.
what's
I'll never forget that line.
Great.
And I hope you're hungry because I'm gonna wrap my fist down your throat and pull out your casting spine.
And I just enjoyed those a lot more. This one, Total Recall, it was just a little too much cheese for me, and so that's what it kind of took me out of the film a couple times, which I know was probably revolutionary at the time. But like their tracking device, like I'm tracking him, it's like the pulsing circle. I'm just like, oh boy, this is so funny. And same thing with like his like Mirage, whatever it's called, his like
camouflage,
not clone. No, like
sorry.
What do you call that? Like the Obi-Wan Kenobi, you're my only hope. What is that?
The hologram.
Hologram, when he would do his hologram self, and he's like, hey. And he's like, I got you. And I was just like, what am I watching, dude?
Dude, I'm gonna say I don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good actor. I'm sorry. I don't think The Rock is a good actor, but we need men that are that size.
I think Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger are two of my favorite actors, though. Even though I agree with you, I don't think they're great actors. They're some of my favorites.
But they still,
Rocky is a great character. Yes, yes. Like I'm waiting for Arnold Schwarzenegger's Rocky. Like what's like the lovable Arnold Schwarzenegger performance other than I guess T2?
Turbo Man, Ty.
Yeah, Jingle all the way. And I love you,
Dad.
Jamie.
It'd be exactly what I wanted for Christmas. You'll get a turbo doll eventually. Oh, you're under the impression there's a turbo doll in this studio? No, that's not what I said. Everybody, this has been Future Hidden Movie Gems. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. Check us out on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and YouTube. Check out our whole catalog. Leave us a comment, like this video, and share it. And this has been Future Hidden Movie Gems signing out. Peace.
Peace.
Get on the plane.